And good day, everybody. It is Brother Chris here with Gypsy Lady Eva. Today, what we're going to be talking about, though, is how to have a spiritual awakening naturally. And this is a great topic, especially for what's been going on in the States. If it doesn't matter, even if you live in another country, your country might be having an effect with the States right now. But yeah, this thing will actually help you out altogether. Now, you briefly got to read it today, Gypsy Lady Eva, and what did you think?
Yep, I liked it. It does kind of go along with everything else. I mean, it does go along with everything else we've done.
Yep.
On spiritual awakening. But there's some things in there that really, you got to think about it if this is what you really, really want.
Yeah. That's like God. So, but yes, go ahead.
And I liked it because it's like, even if you don't have a lot of, I don't want to say classes or whatever,
spiritual
but you know that there is something greader.
Yeah.
And it opens you up for this, and it helps you.
Yeah. So this one here was actually speaking to me, and I presume it was speaking to you also right when you read it. So Gypsy Lady Eva is just nodding her head yes. So she's having actually a little bit of that little chocolate, I think it is, in her mouth, or a little bit of grapes actually. She's just relaxing, and this is the best thing to do, those relax and meditate. Meditation can be different in different ways. What we're going to do is we're going to be breaking this down to you guys. The first one, though, is ask and pray actually for your spiritual experiences. Ask the higher being. It basically says ask God, but so many people believe in different gods altogether. So basically, actually ask the universe for your higher self to help. Ask your higher self to help you start actually with your spiritual journey. During meditation, prayer, or journaling actually is a great way to actually help yourself. So right when you're doing that, though, you're going into a meditation state, and right when you're doing that, though, even if you're doing journaling, basically, though, is you're writing down what is coming to you. Now, with prayer, a lot of people do prayer. It could be Hindu, it could be Muslim, or Catholics, or even Christians. Basically, though, is prayer. Your mind is more calm. Basically, though, is some of the steps, though, that you can do, though, is actually ask God, basically, to open up your heart, your mind, and your soul for you to be able to see or feel the truth with what's around you. Ask the universe, please help me to connect with my higher self, a vibration, which is really good, though. Another thing, though, is higher self. I'm always ready. Please help my spiritual journey actually on this path. Anything else you want to throw actually in there?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I think that pretty well covers it. I like the idea that during meditation, prayer, journaling, anything where you take time for yourself, is a good place to start. By opening to the possibilities. That's one of the big things, and it doesn't really say that here. It probably says it later on. I didn't have a chance to really look it over, and I apologize.
You quickly looked it over.
Sprung it on me. You sprung it on me, and it's like I just got a chance to kind of scan it. But opening yourself to the possibility, and you would be surprised how things happen. But that moves us into the next one.
Yeah.
Consenting to the spiritual awakening and asking your guides for help. And I took that away from you if you want me.
No, because I'm throwing that one to you.
Well, besides simply asking for it, you consent to it. Like, okay, God, do what you want to do, or however you adjust the creator spirit. And it kind of sounds like the same thing, but there is a little bit of a difference. Simply by asking for it doesn't mean that you're consenting to it. What you're doing at that with the consent is to say, thy will be done. In other words, the awakening may not come as some big thing. It can be just a small ripple. As they say, it can be as simple as the flutter of a butterfly's wings. But anyway, some people think they want a deeper understanding or profound shift in their spiritual awareness, but on a deeper level, fear holds them back, and that's one of the big problems. You let your fears get involved, and that's not good, because then it stops everything. But often becoming spiritually awakened means facing painful feelings from the past or confronting problems in the now, and it's common to experience resistance, dissonance, and mental blocks in the to your path on the spiritual awakening. And when you consent to one, you make agreement with yourself to evolve, and you give yourself permission for your higher self to guide you in these new ideas and new understandings. And if you believe in spiritual guides, you can grant permission to your guides, including your spirit animals, angels, loved ones who have passed, and the creator, to help you along your way. This makes things much easier in everyday life. And know that you are surrounded by positive, loving energies, because no matter if you open yourself up and you protect yourself with prayer, the angels, the guides, the teachers, whatever you want to call them, are there. And the spirit animals, I don't know, have you ever had any experience with your spirit animal?
Always.
Yeah, he's breathing. Well, I mean, involved in moving on in your spiritual path. I don't think I ever have.
I have.
I see crows crow is my spirit animal, and whenever I see a crow, I know something good is going to happen.
Yeah. It's like you were saying that, though, you were looking out the window.
Well, I saw something move out there, and I thought it was big, and it turned out to be part of a corn stalk. It's like, oh, if I saw a crow out there right now, it's like, okay, I give up. I'm leaving. And pray for your fears or apprehensions let's try that again, to dissipate. And your mind and heart to become clear and open, and tell yourself, I am ready. Let's go with this. You consent to the spiritual awakening. And believe me, once you open yourself up, you'd be surprised what's going to happen. So there we go.
Yeah. All right. So number 3, though, is basically you're seeking new information and spiritual guidance. In addition to this, basically, though, is you're giving actually the power and prayer actually to connect to the spiritual guide, to your spiritual guides, more in different ways. There are some examples, though, that you're going to visit actually a spiritual shop. That could be a shop with crystals. That could be not only crystals, but to do with actually other ways. I know in our community here we have a store area, and it's they carry within crystals. But with us here at Haunting Live podcast, we have our own spiritual store. We do carry a lot more indigenous items for you altogether, and with some crystals. Another thing, though, is actually joining basically a large group actually online or in person. That way you're dealing with more people within the spiritual community altogether, which is what we've always said to people, though, is if you're going to be actually active within the spiritual group, like not spiritual group, but spiritual community, join with people, though, that are in tune with the spiritual side. That way you can actually learn also. Another great one, though, is for us Indigenous people, though, is basically sign up or go to a drumming circle. Here in town, though, we actually have drumming circles. Drumming circles are actually on Tuesday nights. During the winter, they're actually downtown in the city I live. But double check actually within your own communities for the Indigenous circles. They also say basically prayer circle. Is also good to do. You can actually be able to read books to do with actually being more tuned with the spiritual side. There is connect with wise friends that are also in tune with your spiritual side. You can write, make art, do journals. There's large things so that you can do with actually all together with seeking new information and with the spirit guides that you can do. There's a large area altogether than just staying actually in one location. You can watch also videos actually on YouTube. There are some great ones actually out there besides Haunting Live podcast and us here at Divine Oracle podcast. There are some great ones. What are some of them though that you can think of, Gypsy Lady Eva, though, that are on YouTube?
YouTube? Oh, wow. I've never really searched the YouTube. I just kind of let things happen. And I've come across a couple things just in the Facebook alone. And, I'm just trying to think. It's a woman. And it looks like she's been to hell and back and survived. I mean, she looks very rough, but she has this slight accent, which I haven't been able to pinpoint. And her name, I mean, she goes by, I'm just trying to think, and I'm drawing a complete blank. And I want to say Mother Blue, something like that. Mother. Oh. She's a hoot, but you learn so much from her. I would love to sit at her knee. And there are the other spiritual person that I watch is the Dalai Lama.
Yeah.
Oh, he's fantastic. He is fantastic. Can I tell the story?
It's our show. Go ahead.
I had the opportunity to actually meet the Dalai Lama. I attended a lecture in Chicago that he was giving, and afterwards, because of who I was with, we were taken to a room. There were about 20 of us, and we were told that the Dalai Lama would be right there and how to address him and everything. And if you wish to speak with him, please feel free, but don't make it too long. He doesn't have the time. So in walks the Dalai Lama. The first thing he says, "I know what you are thinking. Hello, Dalai." I'm like, oh my God, the guy has a sense of humor. And he talked for a few minutes about the spiritual path, and you could just feel his spiritualness just emanating. I mean, you couldn't ignore it. So then he went around and he was going to bless everyone. And you could say something to him personal at that time. So I'm trying to think, what can I say? So he finally gets to me, and all I could think of is to hold my hands like you're supposed to. Namaste. And he smiled and he blessed me. So I have been blessed by the Dalai Lama. And then he moved on, and I thought, here was the most spiritual man I have ever met in this world. And I couldn't think of a darn thing to say.
Yeah. It's like it happens. Yeah, some things though that you can actually do for connecting basically within the spiritual community though is go into the wilderness of the world and meditate, right? Try higher locations such as forests or even come spring times, if you're actually in the cold Arctic right now weather, try to do with actually a field. Just sit in the field, lay in the field. All right,
Chris, are you crazy?
I know you've got corner on you, but still, yeah, that's what you can do though, is basically though is connect that way. Actually, get those, connect with your guides. Your guides are always willing to talk to you. And that brings us down to number 4.
Affirm that you are having a spiritual awakening. Wake up, okay. As you are along with asking for this spiritual awakening and consenting and taking actions to develop this, it is also helpful to affirm that you are awakening, and affirm that you are a spiritual being in a body who is awakening more and more each day and following your divine path. And you might try journaling some affirmations, or simply remind yourself of your spiritual power, free will, inner divine light, and by speaking your truth. And some examples of some of the affirmations are: I am joyfully awakening bit by bit. I am a powerful spiritual being. My light grows stronger and more powerful each day. I am aware of all that is around me. And that's one of the hardest things, because there's a lot going on.
Yeah. That's what I got. So,
which brings us down to number 5.
So number 5, though, is offer yourself grace and kindness. And this is really hard, especially with what's going on in this world. But the thing, though, is know that there is no right or wrong way to grow spiritually. The growth actually is really, really good. Never let yourself go down the rabbit hole, and never look at yourself actually so that you're giving yourself the worst criticism. It's never good to do that. And that's one thing, though, that, again, though, like I said, though, it's very hard with a lot of us. We look at the example, though, is we usually go in front of a mirror, and the old saying, though, is say 20 positive things about yourself. And it's always hard to say 20 positive things about yourself because you're judging yourself. Never do that. If you're going to go in front of a mirror, have a bright light around you. Have that shining. Say 20 positive things altogether. Once you break through with that, you're going to find, though, that things are going to be given to you within a lot more peaceful way. Again, it's going to help you grow within the spiritual way. Who cares what others say about you? It's what you say about yourself that brings yourself to the light. Now we're going to do this. We're going to go down to number 6.
I'm sorry if I was smiling when you were talking about put that. All I can think of, I've got a little light. I'm going to make it shine.
Yes.
I can't remember the whole song.
Yeah, number 6, though.
Affirm the next level of spiritual growth when you are ready. I mean, that's one thing about spiritual awakening, spiritual growth, spiritual, whatever you care to call it. There's no time schedule. It happens as it happens. And sometimes, even though you really feel like you're ready, the higher beings say, just a second, we've got to tweak it here and there. Give us a few minutes. Or, well, they don't know about time, but they got to tweak it a little bit just to make you better. And sometimes, because we are in a time world, it takes time. So don't be afraid if it doesn't happen right now. It will happen. Be patient. And that may be part of the lesson, too, that you need to learn to get to that next level. And, affirming that you're ready is incredibly powerful. And it works well when you feel content with your life, but since you're ready to move on for something more. This feeling of desire, by the way, doesn't mean that you're ungrateful for what you have. You should never be that. You should be thankful for everything you've got now. And it's just that you're ready for new experiences, happiness, or mastering the higher levels of inner understanding in the matrix of life. I love that, the matrix of life. Nothing like the movie. Anyway, maybe you're bored, feeling stagnant, or just desire a life-changing event. It's okay. Humans are naturally meant for continual growth. And I only would add a word of caution: be careful what you ask for.
Yeah.
They will give it to you. And that life-changing event could be something really smacking you up alongside the head and leave you spinning.
Yeah.
But when it all stops, you're like, oh yeah. And make sure that the intention behind this desire is to master these higher levels of spiritual awakening or personal evolution. And make sure that it is love-based rather than fear. Ask with a pure heart and trust in God to guide you. And an example would be that you may be ready to get to the next level in, say, relationships. Well, you may be ready to meet someone new as a friend, a romantic partner, a teacher, or take the next step in a current relation. Ask for that deep love connection and trust in the magical process. In other words, trust it. It will get you there. And, maybe your sense of a next level is more general than anything else, and you may feel like you're fairly content with life, experiencing a steady flow of happiness, etc. Let's call it level 6, but what you feel is like you're ready to live at level 9. What actions can you take and thoughts can you get there? Get to that higher level of happiness. There's always more to discover in life, and never forget that. And there's so much that you just don't know. And as a side note, I would say, as I have gotten older, I realize how little I truly know. And it's like, I want to learn more. And I know that when I pass, that will be given. But that's just a side note. So, don't be afraid to discover it. Don't be afraid to go to that next level. Don't be afraid. Just understand that there's so much more. And once you are really into it and move with it, you will find that next level, and you will go like, oh, yeah, now I see. And you're there.
Yeah. Yeah. And that brings us down to number 7. So number 7, though, is let go of the attachments to outcomes. Throughout your lives, basically, though, is what we're always taught, though, is that, hey, we got so much to do. But the thing, though, is what we have to find, though, is actually within our lives, though, that there is moments, actually, of happiness and spiritual awakening. You must always let go, actually, of your sense of control and attachment to outcomes. Basically, though, saying, hey, I need things done by a certain time. And sometimes, so you do make it. But the thing, though, is you're rushing, and never, ever rush. Never set yourself with a deadline. The reason was because if you set yourself with a deadline, most times, though, you don't make it. And that's always good, though, is not to set a deadline. Just say, hey, in my life, I want this done. It could be big, it could be small. One little example, though, is like you're playing with your kids. And your kids, though, want to be able to go to, say, Disney. But though, that you can't in that certain time that the child wants. You have to make arrangements to be able to do it later in life. That's sort of like setting goals. And also, though, is during this time, right, when you're actually being truth to yourself in your heart, all right, you can be able to feel more relaxed. I'm going to throw it back over to Gypsy Lady Eva.
Okay, where do you want me to go to?
It doesn't matter. Anywhere actually in there, which would be good.
I'm sorry?
It doesn't matter. Anywhere in there.
Well, I was looking through and it says, what are the signs of the spiritual awakening? And I think that's one of the things that people wonder the most, and probably are the first question, how do I know?
Yeah.
And for us to sit here and just, who have gone through this on many times, sometimes, in my case, and it's like, you'll know And it's like, come on, give me a little more than you'll know.
Yeah.
And so, these are just a few, and it's just, there's more out there. And you notice coincidences or synchronizations. And all of a sudden, or you realize that they are really not coincidence or synchronizations.
It's a tongue twister.
Hey, I can't say it. I'm sorry. You feel the need to seek a spiritual material. In other words, you want to start reading more about this stuff. I want to know more. You feel changes in your physical body. That doesn't mean if you need to lose weight or you need to gain weight or you need to get muscle. That's not it. But you feel these changes. And you will start noticing little things. Maybe you're a little more coordinated than you used to be. Like some of us can trip over a shadow. All of a sudden you don't have that. It's like, hey, that's great. Or there's something you can't do and all of a sudden you're able to do. And you start caring less and less about material possessions. There are certain things, yes, that I will never give up because they are, how can I say, gifts that I can't give up because they do have a deep meaning. But there's a lot of stuff that gets tossed. And you feel your sense of self changing. You feel better about yourself in ways that you hadn't thought of before, like, take me as I am. This is who, physically, take me as I am. This is who I am. If you don't like it, there's the door. And the spiritual realm begins to fascinate you. You think more about what is on the other side. What is it that we're not seeing that maybe cats can see? Because I know I've seen my cats look at something, then there's nothing there. At least I don't see it. And you begin to wonder about it. Is there something there? Or you see a shadow walking where a shadow shouldn't be. And you start feeling a more deeper and enhanced connection to the universe, to God, to the Creator, however you want to put it. And you feel this connection, and it just everything starts making more sense. Okay?
Yeah. Yep. And it's true, though, because this stuff is going to help you out. There's a couple of more footnotes, though, actually. Do you ever experience actually any big changes or a natural event that basically will help you wake up? And I love that, though, example, like that thing there. And one thing, though, is, for myself, though, what I would say for big changes, though, is to do with my parents' death. Things have happened which are big, sort of as their death. But the thing, though, is it brings everybody into one. And one great example, though, is before my parents got ill, my sibling and I, we cannot stand each other. We cannot talk to each other at all. Until all of a sudden we realized that, hey, mom and dad are not getting good. They're getting bad. It was many years before, though, that we were not talking. But this is what's actually helped us bring us back together. Stuff like that, though, will actually help you start realizing, hey, we have to work together. We have to start putting things together. And it's a great change, though, because it's a spiritual awakening. Things without you knowing throughout your journey of spiritual life will bring a larger picture and larger answers to you. So it's sort of like with what you've gone through, Gypsy Lady Eva, just recently.
Oh, it's
like so.
That, yeah. Besides my mother's, I don't even know if you'd call it illness, but growing old.
Yeah.
I have had some medical issues that it's like, where did they come from? And I don't know how to explain it other than the fact that it was something I needed to sit back and deal with.
Yeah.
But if you had to name one thing that really helped with your awakening, what would it be?
I would say basically, the strongest thing, what I would say though, is since I am Indigenous, right, and people are saying I'm not because of my skin tone in third generation, it's basically connecting more with my spiritual ancestor side. It's the strongest for me, right? Because there's a lot of things though that are out there within the media, but a lot of things are not, and you have to learn. You might have people condemning you to do with actually of who or what you are, but if you know the truth, fight with that and live with the truth. They'll let you know that they do not know. What about for you?
The Grand Canyon. I happened to be in Arizona. I was living there for a while. And a friend says, "Have you ever been to the Grand Canyon?" I said, "No, I haven't." And if you don't believe in a higher power, looking at how this was created, and the beauty is unbelievable. Pictures can be taken, but it just doesn't get it. And you stand there with a sense of, oh my God. And I had a spiritual awakening at the bottom of the Grand Canyon. It was fantastic. I came out of that with like, there's nothing I can't do. Nothing I can't do. And it made me realize that for as much as I see around myself and I know that I am a part of it, you look at that and at the Grand Canyon and you realize how small we really are. But you look at how that canyon was formed and you realize, as small as I am, I can make a difference. Yeah. That's what that was one of my biggest, most profound spiritual awakenings.
Yeah. Now for final for final thoughts, what would you say about final thoughts?
Final thoughts.
Yeah.
Well, if you want a spiritual awakening within yourself, just remember, you alone have the power to do so. Prayer, affirmation, consent, active seeking, and letting go, you will achieve a spiritual awakening and a journey onto spiritual awareness. If you want to initiate it, try to prepare yourself. Things can get bumpy rather quickly. And an awakening is not always easy. Sometimes we have to face an extremely difficult truth to move forward in life. And what you're asking for can be highly disruptive. Like I said earlier, be careful what you ask for.
Yeah.
Because they will accommodate you.
Yeah.
And that being said, I do believe the most turbulent, most profound awakenings are the ones that are the most beneficial in the long run. And the more spiritual awake you are, the more knowledge you gain and the more happiness you can experience in life. And that is so, so true. As we were talking earlier, everything that's been going on, there's a certain calmness that I am also experiencing. So yes, it's been profound, but it makes me go on. I can do it. And the wider realm of positive experience is yours for enjoyment when you have more information to work with, and that's exactly what happens. So take it as it is and go with it. Let your angels guide you. Talk with them. Pray to them, however you perceive the connection. And the road can get a little bumpy, but it all adds to the outcome or the total experience. Your turn.
Yeah. So we are sorry though that this has been actually a long episode. Again, those at the beginning of those, we were talking about those just recently. What's happened actually in the States with Donald J. Trump, but at the end here, we have brought you guys back to do with spiritual awakening. And that's one thing, though, is what I said underneath our last show, is a lot of people within the States are having their own spiritual awakening right now. We hope, though, that you actually are going to have yours, or have had yours, sort of like what we've actually had here at Divine Oracle Podcast. Leave a comment. Let us know. We'd love to hear from you guys. Again, those, thank you very much for joining us, Gypsy Lady Eva and Brother Chris. Look for our next episode, what we're going to be doing those. We're going to be talking more within spiritual awakening. Again, though, this is a big topic to talk about. And who knows, we might not talk about with American politics right now underneath our next show. We might just go fully straight in. But we encourage you guys to share and like. If you guys have not listened to us underneath Podbean, listen to us and subscribe. Thanks a lot. You guys have a wonderful night, and we'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.